which we recently hear a lot, especially what's happening in the last couple of months and around, especially after June 24th. But what I do start to tell what's going on recently, I think it should be very much important to understand what has happened in the last couple of years of Turkish politics and recent ongoing, because till year 2016, July 15, that night, Turkish politics, Turkish mindset, the people has changed a lot. I was giving that specific example to my friends, my colleagues in New York, because which I used to live, as you mentioned, in September 11 times in New York. That was a disastrous day, not only for New Yorkers, but the whole US nation. That night, what we have lived so far, not only for the Turkish Republic history, but more than that, including the Ottoman times. That night, we have suffered for hundreds of people died, thousands of them wounded, and millions of them were on the street. And since from that night till June 24th, the governments, the AK Party governments for 14 consecutive years, the number one priority in the agenda was always, all the time, economy, but that night that has changed. So what has happened that night till June 24, these 2 years, number one priority became security. And this is why we fight for almost 2 years to, regain the people and fighting with terrorism. And not only with that, the two terrorist organizations, PKK and FETÖ, we fight for, to stabilize the state itself, because not only in the army, not only in the police, not only bureaucracy, not only Justice Department, not only ministries, whatever, all these organizations sneaked out in the system. This is why we have prioritized this security issue. So for those 2 years, we have created almost 3 elections. And because of that priority, price stability, budget discipline, whatever, fighting inflation issues became number 3, number 5. So June 24, we end up with a very strong, committed, and very result-oriented new system. And since that day, we have switched to a 26 ministerial board of ministers to 16. Lots of ministries has combined, including mine as well. And why mine is crucial, by the way, that's the first time ever for decades. Monetary and fiscal policy alignment coordination has become very much aligned within that strategy, because you can't fight with inflation in one hand. You have to be, very much aligned with the, fiscal policy, monetary policy alignment. So you can't blame central bank in one hand, or you can ask for the fiscal discipline in the other hand. So starting from that day, July 9th, after the new cabinet is appointed, we started to fill up the all empty dots, including the lack of communication part as well, not only putting discipline and budget whatsoever. So in the last couple of months, what we have done so far, we have created a strategy, what we have not exactly or quality-wise done in the last couple of years, starting with budget discipline. The half-year results, what it is almost everybody's asking 3%, 5%, 4.5% budget deficit. We said no. Initial first step, what we are going to do is to get the budget performance well, that what we have promised beginning of the year, lower than 2% strategy. By the way, the Maastricht criteria was around 3%. We all the time put that discipline within that. This is why I first initially announced 35 billion Turkish liras budget cut, spending cut, to get the year-end results. What about the next one? We need to fight with inflation, which we have not that good, phase, make it very well within this period. So this is why, not only with the export-import ratio strategy of Turkey is already started to change starting for July and August till the end of this year, because current account deficit is one of the biggest problems that we have faced so far. And I think June, July perspective, the year-end, 6.5%, 7% current account deficit expected. Before the currency depreciation started August, we already have started to, arrange the year-end results on the current account deficit strategy. What it is, export-import ratio ended up with, comparing to 2017 to 18, is used to be 58% July 2017 and reached around 70%. What about August It used to be around 65%. 2017, we reached 83.3%. So before this currency depreciation, the normalization to export-import to declining current account deficit has already started. And what we have seen so far in September, okay, we have a strong action on the central bank to fight with inflation within a very strong commitment, with a very independent way, which everybody is asking whatsoever, but this is what it is. The independence is the cruel issue, and this is the necessary action from their side, put it aside. But what we have followed then, what is very much crucial, the MTP, so-called, so waited for. That's the first MTP ever, which we said the name New Economical Program, or in Turkish YEP. That's the first time ever the whole different parts of the economy, all bodies, not only bureaucrats, which used to be like that. The first time ever, the financial bodies, the real sector as well, including academicians and all other bodies, has contributed their significant effort to make a real, much realistic ways, rational ways, a very strong 3-year MTP plan. And we ended up, last week we have announced a very rational plan how to convert the economical change with a very dedicated 3 elements. First one, for sure, rebalancing. For the last couple of years, what we have not seen so far in that phase, this is why we have first focused on this rebalancing starting from the last year-end quarters, and following to that, 2019 should be aligned with that. Not only with growth potential that Turkey already has, but we have to be rebalanced on that one. But how are we going to do it? In a very strong discipline perspective. Not only budget, but also fiscal policy, whatever, this should be lying on the field, on the ground as well. And the last one, which is the most crucial about it, the transformation, which we have announced, but we didn't give them much details on the MTP, by the way. We are going to create a new office, Transformation and Cost Management Office, which we have agreed to start to convert the economical change with McKinsey, and which is aligned with the whole other 15 ministries, including our 16 of it, has to be very much monitored within our ministry with a very determined and significant KPIs for every ministry, and quarterly basis we are going to follow up to all targets and results. But the thing is, what we need to do over here, not only for the perception perspective, because I mean, in the economical perspective, you do talk lots of the time, we do talk, whatever. What the market expects all the time is either you deliver or not. This is the case. I mean, this is something not related with myself, believe me on that, guys. What is crucial over here? 16 consecutive years of the AK Party governments, that's for sure. This leadership delivered all the time, whatever it takes. This is why we dropped our public debt from 70% to 28%, one of the lowest. And this is why we have created this very significant and very strong budget discipline, less than 2% most of the time. Even the 2008 crisis, 11, 13, 40, whatever. All the time we have implemented a very strong, committed, execution all the time. This is why very much crucial understanding on the behind side of all investors. Why this is very much important right now, after June 24th, we have a very much strong 5 years of mandate. We already passed the election period of time, a couple of them, in 2 years, 3 of them, in 5 years, 6 of them. We ended up this term in a very much brighter and straightforward term. But again, what we have seen so far, from our point of view, as a newly minister appointed, used to be an energy minister, and switching on top of it, what I have seen so far, I need to put the real picture rather than rumors and speculations in front of me. So I need to look at the 4 bases of my economy. What are they? Public, household, private sector, and banking sector, or financial or non-financial. I need to dig all of these 4. Where are we over there? From the Turkish perspective of the public portion, Turkish public debt, one of the lowest, which we all know. In case of the emerging market average, which is around 40%, Turkey 28%. The global average around 60-70%. We don't have any much trouble on that. Turkish public debt is very strong, very comfortable. What about the second one, household? Let me tell you about household. Household to GDP in Turkey is 16%. The EM average is 36%. the OECD global average around 60%. Still very low, but more than that, because of having strong lessons, the oil crisis, the Turkish economy, households utilize it. 2001 crisis told the oil households in Turkey, don't lend from foreign currency. This is why we ended up, whoever has some, that whatever in Turkey, all in Turkish liras, long term, whatever, even housing, mortgage, whatever, no currencies on that one as well. This is why, comparing to the 1 year ago and today, we depreciated, Turkish lira base almost 80–90%. There is no problem on the streets because of this reason again. What about the third and the fourth one? I need to be quick. I think I got the message, the president on the way, so I need to speak quickly to, resolve your question anyhow. So what about the third and fourth one? Financial and non-financial. Financial sector. Debt to GDP around 26%, EM average is 32%. Still low, but more than that, two bases is crucial. One is, what is that? Capital adequacy ratio, which is around 16%, legal limit 8%. We already put cushion for many years, like 12%, 4% additional to follow up this 12% range to be on the safe side, what it is. But even though the capital adequacy on this portion, the MPL, so-called MPLs is crucial. What I have announced last week on the MTP, I said that not only the general stress test, we started to implement a new test, very much detailed one, not only the big ones, the big banks, which out of this 8–10 big banks, consist of more than 85–90% of the whole credit portfolio of the whole economy, by the way. Sector-wise, company-wise, and all in detailed wise. What could be the vulnerabilities? What could be the risks? And as a result of this, what I said, whatever necessary actions should we take, we have all the options on the table. Whatever, if needed, by the way, if required as government, we have a very strong balance sheet on that way. We can do whatever it takes to continue to strengthen the backbone of an economy, which is the financial sector. What about the private one? Private sector is around 65% to GDP. The EM average is 94%. Still, Turkey is in the low leverages. But more than that, everybody's asking, is it that risky, currency, whatever? Two options is crucial over there. What we have done so far the year before in the new legislation process, what we have done that over there, more than $15 million of lending should be naturally hedged to get the same amount of currency revenues, that portfolio. This is why, even in a long position, most of it, but 12 months ahead, private sector's, currency risk is plus $4 billion. We don't see any much trouble in the short term in that one as well. But even though, all in all, public, household, private, financials, whatever, if you put the whole things in the same basket, whole package, what is that? The Turkish basket, around 135% to GDP. What is it on EM average? 211%. And what is it on global average? 318%. So all in all, Turkey's total debt, in any aspect of and breakdown of it, all the whole package of it, all whatever you mean for it, still in the very secure and safe side. So what do we see over here in the last couple of months? Depreciation, the political things, this and that, whatsoever, the unpredictability, or the perceptional asking for more foreseeable economical future. Turkey is in the right track than how it used to be in any aspect. So I think we would see much more appreciated steps going to be realized in the coming days, weeks, and months. I think it's going to be a very much brighter future for Turkey.